Chapter 21. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Shine Star Calendar 1017. Daxia Intelligent Robot Industry Expo. After seeing the title, Huang Chaoren couldn't help but wondered, the factory has produced results so quickly. Go to this kind of conference. Qing shook his head and said, it's not that we take the initiative to participate, but we have to participate passively, because if we don't participate, it means that our product review is unqualified, and we belong to a company that cheats on subsidies and preferential policies. The factory will immediately after being optimized and rectified, the company's college student tax exemption will also be cancelled. Qing immediately explained the situation to his friends. When Dong Qi heard about the money, his expression became solemn, and he opened his notebook to check the information. So, we were tricked by Zhao Xiangfu. He's a stalwart, he ate up everything and then left. He really cheated. Huang Chaoren was speechless, with dark circles under his eyes. Bloomberg complained weakly, so this is why the research team from the factory came to our design department in the middle of the night last night. It's really terrible. So what, can you do the approval? It must be approved first before the finished product comes out. As soon as Qing heard this crooked way, he immediately said in a serious voice, we are a law-abiding company, how can we operate in the audit? The design department will come up with a plan as soon as possible, and the factory is waiting. As soon as the words were finished, Bloomberg suddenly covered his chest with a heartache, and said in a stern voice, you are heartless, do you think the design department is not tired? Let's work overtime. The software operation interface of the three mobile phone manufacturers and the materials for the promotion are almost ready, and I am here to expedite the task. I haven't found my little sister to play games for several days. We work overtime all night at 3 times the wages. You sleep in the company all night, and the money you get for this morning's wages counts as sleeping money? Dong Qi lifted his glasses frame and said coldly. Bloomberg was stunned for a moment. A man puts his career first, and we'll talk about games later. Dong Qi went on to say, the scale of this exhibition is not small. Although it is to test the products of major enterprises and research institutes, the official document defines this exhibition as a high-tech industry, high-quality enterprise exhibition. That if our products can shine at this exhibition, it is estimated that they will be reported on a certain channel at night. Damn it, really? Huang Chaoren squeezed over to look at Dong Qi's laptop with a look of surprise, and he still muttered, if we can go up here, we will have a reputation. Otherwise, what do you think is the purpose of holding this exhibition? Results can only be achieved under the carrot and stick. Either the intensively researched products will be famous at the exhibition, or the mixed subsidies will be reviewed and found to be optimized and rectified. Qing went on to say, the opening time of this exhibition is August 1st. Although there is still some time before the opening of the exhibition, the audit team will come to our company on July 10th, so we have to get it before the 10th, products that can be mass-produced. Bloomberg frowned and said, our design department will try our best to come up with a plan within 2 days. This is young people who start a business without procrastination. Qing nodded and said, the design department has to work harder. After this period of time is over, we can recruit another batch of design talents. Only a few of you, even if you recruited a few last month, will not be enough after the company develops for a period of time. Yes, but also finance and operations. At the exhibition, if our products are good enough, I will make arrangements later, and when the goods are distributed, everyone will be busy. Qing remembered that starting from September, major mobile phone manufacturers gathered together for new product release conferences, and the customers of the 3 major mobile phone manufacturers were all potential customers of Kyushu Company. During this period of time, the program will be optimized intelligently, and more functional modules will be added. Other home smart electronic product projects will be worked overtime to produce results. It's just limited to production capacity, and may have to limit purchases for a while. There may be a gap in funding. Dong Qi poured cold water on it. From the worst point of view, if the product fails to stand out and win awards, and our marketing promotion is not smooth, then the capital chain will be broken, not to mention recruiting more people, and I am afraid we will have to reduce production capacity. After speaking, Dong Qi closed his mouth. However, Gu Qing heard the implication. If a company wants to develop, capital and technology are indispensable. Now Kyushu's technology may be enough, but in terms of capital, does it need financing? Thinking of some words Dong Qi said before, the other two people present in the office held their breath. Huang Chaoren and Bloomberg can clearly see that Dong Qi and Gu Qing have some differences in their views. Gu Qing is more of a technical nerd, he doesn't want other capital to come in, let him be tied up, and even like a certain fruit, the founder was kicked out by capital. On the other hand, Dong Qi started from the reality, financing and introducing external funds. Only with money in his pocket can he expand the scale of the industry as soon as possible, and because Boundary Monument 1.0 is free software and does not advertise, there is no income, so Kyushu Technology's current the only capital input is the cooperation and optimization with the three major mobile phone manufacturers. However, my boss also likes to engage in hardware. Those industrial robots and production rooms are bought with real money, which costs money like water. If there is no income, no loans, and no financing, how long can the funds in the company's account last except for wages and other expenses? 5 months. Dong Qi replied solemnly. The office was silent for a moment. Huang Chaoren bit the bullet and made a note. Then, let's find another mobile phone manufacturer to cooperate with. Vio also offered a price of 10 million before. Dong Qi shook his head and said, Xiaowei, Ijia, and Rice are the only partners within a year, that is, except for the free version of Boundary Monument. Other derivative products and versions of Boundary Monument can only be used when they cooperate, otherwise you think they will pay so much money? There is also a consideration of market share. Ah, this. Huang Chaoren looked at Gu Qing. Bloomberg stayed up too late, and his brain circuit was a little slow, so his expression was a little dazed at the moment, but he also looked at Gu Qing. Dong Qi pursed his lips and looked at his old friend. Gu Qing at this moment, in their eyes, was frowning tightly, with a dignified expression, coupled with white hair growing from the sideburns. There was a sense of sadness in his figure. Well. A low sigh came, and Dong Qi knew that this high-minded roommate finally agreed with him to introduce external funds to allow the company to develop better. I lived frugally, worked as a handyman to raise money, and tricked my family into opening this company. During this period of time, everyone's hard work, I have also seen in my eyes. Lao Huang, who heard the inflammation by listening to the phone, Abo, who often works overnight and night shifts, and the one who has always kept his work and never troubled me financially, Shao Qi. But there is no other way now. Chapter 22 My Showdown. You are listening at novelfull.audio. I have a showdown. I am actually a rich second generation. If I really don't have enough money, I will ask my parents for it. I am the only child in my family. Due to the swine fever problem in my family's business, I don't earn too much now, but it's not a big problem if I spend a few million. Make some money. There's something wrong with the atmosphere in the office. Dong Qi had a strange expression, a little helpless and a little wanting to laugh. Bloomberg tilted his head and fell asleep at some point. I'm going to wipe it, Brother Gu. Is your family a big pig farm? When swine fever comes up, a slaughtered pig can be sold for thousands of dollars. Huang Chaoren wiped away the non-existing tears from the corners of his eyes, sobbed, I have pity on Xiao Huang. I spend so much time in my work day and night. I thought everyone started from nothing, but it turned out that we were accompanying the prince to study. Woo woo woo. Gu Qing waved his hands and said, don't laugh, it doesn't count if you have a net worth of 10 million or so. The breeding industry is like this. My parents like to do this, so they can't go to the market. At most, give me some money to make the transition. In terms of finances, I'm fine. Dong Qi nodded. Having lived together for so long, other people also know what kind of temperament Dong Qi is. However, Gu Qing still interjected, the company first approved some money for the factory as entertainment expenses, then Lao Huang, you and Luo Songtang from the factory will go and entertain the people who come to review. Although we have real materials, we still need to know something about human relations, so as not to make mistakes. No problem. Then the last thing, tomorrow's Outstanding Graduates Commendation Conference. Have you prepared your speech? The school leaders value us very much. Gu Qing smiled. Lao Huang also smiled. What do you value? We are not the top card in Shishu. Old Huang, I found that no matter how serious something is, it will become weird when it comes into your mouth. Strange. Strangely cute. Heh. Huang Chaoran choked on Bloomberg, but Gu Qing said, don't talk about it, Lao Huang's conversation is quite lovable. That's right. Huang Chaoran had a dirty face. After all, if you are ugly, you can think about it, and you have this shortcoming. You are a little ugly, he he he. Gu Qing waved his hand, got up and made a gesture to leave the office. Huang Chaoran said with a look of dissatisfaction, call me ugly, and you will know what it means to be cute when you arrive at the scene tomorrow. You are a good senior. That's a pity, I shouldn't be able to see it. Wait. Are you going to fish for what you said? Gu Qing nodded slightly, sighed and said, oh, I'm so busy, I have to work overtime in the factory tomorrow, trying to get some more products out, I can't just rely on home appliances to take the lead. Shall I wipe it? Hold the grass, one action, Zhang Tianhao and Luo Yunjia exclaimed in unison, the two of them wiped their eyes, and felt that the span was too large. Isn't this a home appliance factory? Why does my boss engage in such black technology? That's right, in Gu Qing's underground laboratory, they saw the man's romance that someone complained about in a meeting. At this time, Gu Qing was sitting cross-legged on the ground with his back facing them. There were many induction patches and small devices placed on his thin body, and these patches and devices were connected by data cables. These data cables eventually converge into a device with a casing like a safe, and then two cables the thickness of an adult's arm protrude from the other end, and this extended cable is like an umbilical cord connected to a behemoth. Numerous humanoid robots with steel structures welded, piled up, and connected are lying on the ground of the laboratory, and there are several industrial robots resting around it. This is the project that Gu Qing has been working on, Romance of Men. Hearing the exclamation, Gu Qing opened his tired eyes and said softly, if you see it, give me a hand. Although the voice was very deep, Zhang Tianhao and Luo Yunjia could still hear clearly through the processing of the microphone and audio system. Boss, how can I help you? Kakaka, some harsh mechanical friction sounded. The two followed the sound and saw the human-shaped steel lying on the ground move. Grunt, the two swallowed. In front of relatively large steel machinery, human beings always have a sense of weakness and throbbing of themselves. If you want to watch it, continue watching later. First help me take off these devices on my body. The patch is twisted clockwise, and other small devices can be removed by pressing the red button on it. After Gu Qing finished speaking intermittently, he closed his eyes, leaving only his chest heaving up and down. Played off, really played off, almost sucked clean. At this moment, he only felt that he was floating in the sky, and his breathing was a little disordered, but he couldn't sleep yet. He had to hold on, and couldn't sleep. Zhang Tianhao was bold and careful, but he was stunned for a moment, then squatted down and started to work. Seeing his colleagues moving, Luo Yunjia also squatted down to help his boss take off the device on his body. These patches can be said to be everywhere, from the spine to the brain. Gu Qing has been pasted all over his body. If any medical student sees it, he should understand that these points are connected to form a human neural network diagram. When the last device above the head was removed, Zhang Tianhao heard a long sigh. At this moment, Gu Qing only felt like a drowning person suddenly returned to the shore and breathed fresh air. Hurrah! The smell of engine oil, steel, and some strange smells filled his nostrils. But at this moment he just wanted to say, it's good to be alive. Unexpectedly, the boat capsized in the gutter and turned over. This time, the mecha technology tree of the Yuan Empire is really difficult to climb. If I hadn't called two helpers through Xuanwu to come to the laboratory to remove the nerve signal connection device on my body, I am afraid that a bad news will be announced at tomorrow's commendation meeting. Zhang Tianhao was courageous. So seeing that Gu Qing's condition had improved a lot, he hurriedly asked, Boss, what happened? And this robot? Although Luo Yunjia on the side didn't speak, she also looked inquiring. Gu Qing twitched the corners of his mouth, nodded with a smile and said, Mecha, men's romance, I played a little bit off today. Since you two saw it today, remember to sign a non-disclosure agreement later. Thanks to Xuanwu, being attacked and learning more and more times, and Gu Qing's day and night training teaching optimization, it finally evolved into a strong artificial intelligence, otherwise Gu Qing would never be so calm now. Huh. Ah, yes. Gu Qing saw Zhang Tianhao staring at the robot beside him without moving, and said with a smile, "Why, want to try?" Grunt. Zhang Tianhao's first reaction was not to refuse. Chapter 23 Guardian 1. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Luo Yunjia said calmly, "The boss is like this now, what are you thinking?" Gu Qing shook his head, "This neural signal connection device still needs to be optimized, and the safety threshold needs to be changed." Seeing Zhang Tianhao look away, he continued, "However, it's good for you to join in the next experiment, and the sample selection is diverse." Of course, he didn't leave behind Luo Yunjia who was beside him. Xiao Jia can also join this project. After all, one person counts against the disadvantages, and 3 people count on the strengths. Although he is not very old, after all, Gu Qing regards them as juniors after all the accumulated experience of the 2 lifetimes. When the 2 of them came back to their senses, Xuanwu, on the other side had already printed out the confidentiality agreement. After signing the agreement and entering the security fingerprints, Gu Qing sent the 2 young men away, returned to the laboratory, and then sat cross-legged on the ground next to the mecha. "Xuanwu, today I was reckless." Gu Qing looked at the solder joints and connecting devices on the mechanical skeleton of the mech, and said to the air. A few seconds later, a mechanically blunt male voice came out from the audio speaker on the side, "Yes, sir. A person's energy is really limited. Even with your help, it's too tiring. High-precision equipment is either sky-high or impossible to buy. Making a mecha is just enough to complete a basic shelf." Gu Qing complained a little decadently, maybe because he hadn't told anyone for a long time. He started talking a little bit. "But there is no way, when these mobile phone manufacturers beat Apple and kick Korean celebrities abroad, then I will be completely exposed as the author of Boundary Monument, and stand under the sun. I need enough strength to protect myself. Now that I have you on the internet, I can feel at ease, but in reality it is not enough. The United States uses too many excuses such as falling down the stairs to commit suicide or having a heart attack. I don't have to be afraid, but my parents and family members in this life don't have this kind of safety awareness. I have to make Guardian 1 quickly, even if I can't use it in the real world, but I can rely on it to connect with the military, at least arranging enough retired special forces, sacrificing a small part of privacy in exchange for safety, is not a loss. Sir, your anxiety is normal, but please take a deep breath and calm down, you are exhausted and need to rest." Xuanwu's voice is very calm, but it is a strong artificial intelligence after all, not a super artificial intelligence. He can learn and can replace a lot of locked and complicated work of humans, but he still has no emotions. "I'm the one in a hurry. I'm in a hurry. I want to get involved in the mobile phone industry. I want to get involved in the home appliance industry. I want to do everything. I don't do anything. Do you think I'm a waste?" Gu Qing asked rhetorically. Xuanwu's voice was still so calm. "Yes, sir, from the perspective of human history, many of your decisions and strategies are rough compared to relevant excellent humans, but you are not waste. The mobile phone industry and the home appliance industry need to invest a lot of money and energy to build a complete ecosystem. You still have a long time to go, and you can walk more steadily if you walk slowly." "Slow down," Gu Qing said in a low voice, "but I don't want to slow down. The days of being suppressed are really uncomfortable. Well, it's useless to think so much. Let's bring up the completion of Guardian number 1 first, and tomorrow I will give a surprise gift to my juniors." In the end, Gu Qing followed Xuanwu's suggestion and fell asleep to the soothing music. The next morning, Zhang Tianhao and Luo Yunjia got up early. They rushed to the laboratory of the project team they were in charge of in the factory, and after hastily dealt with some problems, the 2 of them entered the underground passage. After scanning fingerprints and passing the security check, he entered the underground laboratory. "You guys came so early, have you had breakfast?" Gu Qing calibrated the parameters by the arm of an industrial robot. The 2 replied against their will, "Eat." Gu Qing smiled, did not expose their lies, put down the tools in his hand after a while, and came to the side of Guardian Number 1. Although you are considered high-achieving students, this project is too unfamiliar to you. Let's get acquainted with this guy first today. Gu Qing picked up the tablet and flicked it a few times, and then said, I almost forgot, you install, Boundary Monument, first, bind your ID number, the Wi-Fi password here is, 615717490. It's embarrassing that my own product itself is useless. It's okay, you were too busy with graduation and job hunting, and didn't have the time to play with your mobile phone, I understand, it's just that now that you join my internal project, you need to install, Boundary Monument. After you bind your ID card, the company's database will verify the relevant information, and automatically upgrade your permissions to, Boundary Monument, including stronger data security and internal security. Communication software. Gu Qing never forgot the fact that a certain account was not his own, and he would not foolishly chat about important news or upload files on other people's software. In fact, this is stipulated in many companies, and even the internet is not allowed during working hours. People can't even fish and chat. After the two of them got it done, he continued, as you can see, the one lying on the ground is one of the results of our project, and I call this type of mech, Guardian Number 1, the main structure is made of special steel, and the driving device is not an ordinary hydraulic or mechanical spring. The energy is still the laboratory power supply, which is transmitted through wires. The most important control system relies on this safe-style device. The nerve signal converter, the reason why I was exhausted yesterday was because the threshold of this neural signal converter was not set, of course, now I have adjusted it. In addition to getting to know each other, your task today is to shoot videos, install equipment for me, and unplug the equipment and turn off the power at critical times. Everyone is familiar with shooting experimental videos, but when he heard about the installation of equipment, Zhang Tianhao became excited. Boss, do you want to do human body experiments today? Human experiments? Why do I suddenly feel a villain style of painting? Gu Qing was a little dazed. Seeing this, Luo Yunjie punched Zhang Tianhao on the waist. A dog can't spit out ivory, this is not a test medicine. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with saying that. I've already completed the main body of this Guardian. The connection rate of the nerve signal last night is also fine, so further experiments are needed. Although the relevant setting parameters of Xuanwu were optimized last night, Gu Qing still wanted to make sure. After all, it is necessary for the guards to stand up after waiting for a while. As he spoke, he led the two of them to the side of the industrial robot. The price of these industrial robots is more precious than the guardians lying on the ground, so be careful. Chapter 24 Preparation. You are listening at novelfull.audio. On this point, Gu Qing was not joking. These industrial robots and instruments in the laboratory range from hundreds of thousands to millions. If the guard is broken, it is a normal situation in the experiment, and it can be repaired. If the industrial robot is broken, it usually costs money to find the manufacturer and delays time. Of course, this is for him. If it is replaced by other laboratory institutions, the technology of nerve signal transmission alone cannot be valued. What kind of robots are there? Zhang Tianhao looked at the Guardian, and couldn't help but marvel. Neural signal transmission can solve the human-computer interaction system, so is its joint drive mode direct drive or indirect drive? Is the motor AC or DC? Brushless? At this time, Luo Yunjia also muttered to himself, so the manipulator you gave me, boss, is the technology of Guardian Number 1. Although they look a little different, they are so beautiful. Looking at the expressions of these two people, Gu Qing felt that if he hadn't been there, these two people would probably pounce on them like starving ghosts seeing delicious food, and lick the lubricating oil on Guardian 1, but he understands this situation very well. Men have been fond of robots, transformers, and four-wheel drive vehicles since childhood. The metal structure and steel firm shape are love that men can never refuse. Considering the reasons of control performance and lifespan, Guardian Number 1 did not use a brushed motor, but a brushless servo motor. Well, let me organize the venue first, and I will introduce it to you, and I will broadcast it live later. Live broadcast? Isn't it a video recording? Gu Qing naturally saw the doubts of the two. but he did smile and did not explain, but began to introduce the peripheral equipment. Even though it was July, the underground laboratory was still gloomy and cold, but the three people present were full of enthusiasm. However, Huang Chaoren and other three outstanding graduates are leisurely. It is said that riches and honor do not return to their hometowns, such as traveling at night in brocade clothes. Today, as executives of a startup company whose revenue is approaching over 100 million in a few months, all three of them are a little bit smug. It's not that they are proud and complacent, but that they can finally take this vacation. The usually serious counselors and school leaders saw them talking and laughing. Of course, it is not that the school needs to lick them, but that the identity has changed, and it is not the students and the school, but the mutual benefit of promising adults and the school. Shishu University is also a first-class comprehensive university in the south, and there are still many successful alumni, but this year, from the perspective of entrepreneurship, the Kyushu technology established by Qing. And Huang Chaoren is currently the best. When studying, those with excellent grades are given preferential treatment, let alone now. No, sitting in the front row of the conference room, it was the first time for Huang Chaoren and the others to see so many school leaders. Hey, Gugu is a bull, he didn't come here, and said that he will directly connect to the video later. It's really a matter of time. Lao Huang sighed, but his eyes were fixed on the host girl on the stage without blinking. Bloomberg poked him. Hey, brother Gu codes all day long, and he also needs to bring in projects from the factory. Can you be free? Dong Chi interjected from the side. Some time ago, the manufacturing plant took a lot of money to recruit talents from various colleges and universities. I hope it can produce results soon. Hey, do you think Brother Gu's brain structure is different from ours, or he has a genetic mutation? He can write codes and design home appliances. If he really makes a mecha one day, I think it's normal. The reason why a genius is that he is different from ordinary people. Last year, Brother Gu ate steamed buns every day in the library. It's not like you haven't seen it before. At that time, I thought he was from a poor family, so I forced him to eat the buffet for a few days. Good guy. Other people eat the buffet until the time is up, or they just leave after eating. Brother Gu went in and drank 2 bowls of ice powder, ate 2 small cakes and ran away. He just wasted a few rolls for me. Bloomberg recalled the friendliness he had with his roommate before, and instantly felt angry, and said through gritted teeth, where did you expect that this guy is a rich second generation, shit. It's like this these days. Don't be afraid of others being rich, but be afraid that people who are richer than you will work harder than you. Dong Chi sighed aside. Lao Huang also added, yeah, more handsome than you, richer than you, and harder than you. It really makes a man like me who is nothing but handsome feel ashamed. Vomit. Because the other students are all in the back seats, the 3-person group in dormitory 404 really can't talk to the leaders around them except for chatting quietly. The commendation meeting, which was originally thought to be relatively comfortable, became a little boring while sitting. However, as time passed, the process of the conference went on normally one by one, and soon came the critical moment of awarding outstanding graduates. The 3 of Huang Chaoren were naturally commended. After receiving the certificate of outstanding graduates and leaving the stage, the host girl on the stage hadn't started the next session yet. Among our graduates this year, there is such a senior who is a non-staff reader in the library. As long as the library is open, he will go in and study as soon as possible. The junior girl introduced with bright eyes and bright teeth, but Lao Huang complained below, damn it, he pretended to be there even if he didn't show up. Because the research project is at a critical moment, he can't come to the scene to accept the award, but we have already communicated and we can have a video conversation. At this moment, the screen returns to the underground research room, the sound of crackling can be heard endlessly, and the mechanical arm is replaced with welding tools for electric welding from time to time. The 2 boys Zhang Tianhao and Luo Yunjia were watching all directions and listening to all directions, and they operated carefully, because the surrounding cables and various mechanical wires were placed outside. Instead of ground sockets and the like, there is high-voltage electricity in the factory, but the normal electricity consumption is to convert high voltage into low voltage. In the substation from high voltage to 380 V, there will be high voltage distribution cabinets in the high voltage part, and the distribution cabinets are low voltage. Cabinet, although the distribution after the outgoing line will be low voltage, it will be very miserable if you get an electric shock. Moreover, this place is not very spacious. If you fall, you will get bruised and bruised. Okay, the inspection is complete, let's conduct a power-on test. Gu Qing ordered next to Guardian number 1, this is the benefit of having an assistant. Many simple but time-consuming errands can be done by an assistant. The power was turned on, and the Guardian number 1 lying on the ground seemed like a doll suddenly came to life, and several key indicator lights lit up green. Ahau, check the power lines and the opening of the safety valve. Xiaojia, move the tools and materials around the guards. After Gu Qing finished speaking, he turned around and went to the computer console beside him, his fingers leaped and even brought out afterimages. Chapter 25 Debut. You are listening at novelfull.audio. He is cooperating with Xuanwu on the program optimization test of Guardian number 1. After all, today is the day to pretend to be 13, so you can't make a fool of yourself halfway. Ahau, Xiaojia, are you ready? Come and help me attach the sensor when you're done. When Gu Qing was made into a patient checkup again, after a while, the phone vibrated. The time is just right, Xuanwu is preparing for the BGM. Gu Qing put on the headset. Ahau will hold the phone later, while Xiaojia will watch the situation and act accordingly. After giving the instructions, he clicked OK to call. In the meeting room of Shishu University, the school leaders and students looked at the call request that had not been passed on the screen, with different expressions. Some people frowned, some had smiles in their eyes, and some had bored faces. Huang Chaoren and the others were also a little worried when they sat down. After all, the V-signal profile picture on the screen was that of Brother Gu, so releasing pigeons like this would have a great impact. Not good, but just when the host was about to close the call, the other party finally connected. The video interface in the center of the screen was a bit of a blurry mosaic, and then gradually became clear. This is Xuanwu's information defense system recovering the data exchange of V-letter. Because the nerve signal was connected to the big guy again, Gu Qing's expression was a little gloomy. In addition, he stayed in the laboratory for too long and didn't tidy up his personal appearance, so he was a little unshaven. Of course, no one would pay attention to it normally, but at a conference like the commendation meeting, when all the attention was on him, his state at this time seemed a bit sloppy. This is an outstanding graduate of Shishu University. Before the hostess could say anything, Gu Qing in the video interrupted the process of greeting. This is the research office of Kyushu Science and Technology Company. I'm Gu Qing. Please forgive my delay, but we were still busy just now. Don't worry, research is the most important thing. The host laughed, boom. Suddenly there was a muffled sound coming from the video, which also startled the host. At this time, Gu Qing took a deep breath and said, maybe you think the future is still far away, but I have already felt the pulse of the future. As soon as the screen changed, a humanoid mech appeared in the video. It is lying on the ground, but its body made of steel can be seen through the clear video. The special steel is glowing, and many key parts have been temporarily welded and equipped with armor, but the sensors on the chest and head are not. It flashes light from time to time, indicating its vitality. Mr. Gu, do you want to show us your figurine collection? The professional quality of the host is still there, but he was muttering in his heart that although this Gu Qing had started to succeed in starting a business, he still didn't understand the politeness needed in interpersonal communication. After handing the mobile phone to Zhang Tianhao and telling him to stay away, Gu Qingkai spoke into the microphone. This is not a collection of figurines, but the future in my hands. Immediately afterwards, he closed his eyes and lay down on the computer chair. Zhang Tianhao took the mobile phone and walked to the door of the laboratory. After being more than 10 meters away from the guards, he adjusted the angle and focus of the screen so that the camera was aimed at the guard number 1, but his hands trembled slightly involuntarily. When you close your eyes, or even cover your ears, the body's other senses will become much sharper than usual. For the first time, Gu Qing was completely immersed in his mind. And when he transmitted his will to Guardian number 1 through the nerve signal connector, he also experienced a different feeling. Heaviness, oppressive heaviness, like being in the deep sea, unable to breathe. the sea water oppresses every organ of the body, I want to stand up. The core of Xuanwu is running at high speed at this moment. It wants to help its creator optimize the efficiency and pass rate of nerve transmission, and control the work of each motor on Guardian number 1, ka. The sound of friction between the machines came, and the entire Guardian number 1 was like a patient who regained consciousness and wanted to get up. The motors and driving devices all over the body started to work. Then, 3 seconds later, the indicator light on Guardian number 1's head was completely bright and no longer flickering. Boom. The steel arm waved, and the industrial robot on the side was knocked to the ground. Cement bricks rubbed against steel to make a harsh sound, and then, the 3.5-meter-high underground laboratory has an extra mechanical pillar. Guardian number 1 finally stood up. At this time, the video reminded me of Can You Dig It? This song is often used in the Iron Man series. The calm and magnificent momentum and the standing mecha in the video lens at this moment made everyone in the conference room lose their minds for a moment, and Zhang Tianhao and the two who were on the scene, needless to say, were already stunned. Because of the access to the visual signal transmitted by the camera, Qing can see his own situation at this moment. This feeling is very strange, because the human eye has 576 million pixels. Compared with the 576 million pixel eyes, any camera is insignificant. The retina of an ordinary person has 5 million cone cells, which are used to perceive visual colors, and the human eye can be imagined as equivalent to 5 million pixels. But there are also 100 million rod cells in the eye that sense monochrome contrast, light and dark, and play a big role in how sharp the picture your eyes see. So what Qing sees at this moment is a bit rough and distorted, like playing games on a 4K screen and suddenly returning to a big brick computer to play games with the quality of Need for Speed. However, these are nothing. After all, he changed his body and stood up, but he was not used to the vision at this height. But that's not all. Then try to move around. The various motors began to rotate, and in this mechanical sound, Guardian 1 took the first step. The steel skeleton was pressing on the ground, but because Xuanwu was optimizing the controlled motor at all times, it did not cause much damage. But in the eyes of others watching the video call, they were taken aback, because this mechanical monster is looking at them, walking towards them. 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps. Then it stopped. It's not that Qing doesn't want to take a few more steps, but the reserved line is only so long. But at this time, Guardian number 1 was already very close to the mobile phone Zhang Tianhao was holding. Everyone felt that this behemoth was right in front of their eyes. Hold the grass, is Brother Gu playing a movie? Huang Chaoran said dumbfounded. Bloomberg was on the sidelines, and the curiosity in his eyes couldn't be stopped at all. Is this the mecha that Brother Gu said? The romance of a man. I'm crazy. Oh, no, I can't help it. I'm going to that lab. I'm going. As for Dong Qi, who used to be relatively calm when encountering things, he just felt that his mind was blank at the moment. The romance of a man, the first appearance of Guardian 1, attracted everyone's attention. Chapter 26 The Plan. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Although Qing couldn't see the opposite side of the video, it is different now. Xuanwu can already receive this data and transmit it to the visual signal network. It's like looking at a split screen. The left side is the perspective of Guardian number 1, and the right side is the appearance of all beings at the commendation meeting. There is a saying that goes half a step faster is a genius, and 1 step faster is a lunatic. But just when everyone was wondering, the picture on the big screen at the commendation meeting changed. A triangular symbol was drawn across, and the narration sounded, Kyushu Smart Home Appliances, Titanium Series, future technology will reshape your life. Then there are some short videos and concept maps of the research team's usual work. Hold the grass. Is this an advertisement? A home appliance company shoots a special effect advertisement. Hey, there's going to be a movie. I'll definitely contribute a wave of movie tickets. Huang Chaoran and Bloomberg also had expressions of astonishment, but Dong Qi looked thoughtful on the side. He is not an insignificant person, and he is currently in charge of the finances of the home appliance manufacturing factory. When the factory made a big purchase earlier, someone's research room spent a lot of money to buy materials such as special steel. It is said that special steel can't be used in all home appliances. The video is not very long. At the end of the shot is the scene of the sweeping robot Xiaohao cleaning the factory, and then it is pay attention to Kyushu technology, please look forward to the future. Several large characters gradually faded out of the screen. After that, no other information was released, the video signal was disconnected, and the typical killing was ignored, while others were stunned. Qing was panting like a pug in the basement research room of the factory. Zhang Tianhao was fanning the wind beside him, and Luo Yunjia was giving him a massage. The first half of this experiment was fine, but after the nerve signal connector was pulled out, Qing's muscles suddenly trembled unconsciously, his breathing became disordered, and his eyeballs were congested and turned red. Could it be a problem with the connection of nerve signals, too much organ involvement, resulting in too tight nerves? And we need to optimize it later, maybe just let the muscles express synchronously. Qing reflected, after all, this mecha technology is not a perfect fit for people in this world. You can't find the same leaves in the world, so naturally you can't find the same people. However, with the two personal experiences, he already has a draft in mind, and he can start the next stage of research and development when the funds are sufficient, manned mechs and so on. The Daxia officials should be interested, right? What about mecha-derived technology, energy devices, and transmissions? But right now, we still need to be down to earth and make money honestly. After all, we are not a rich man, so we can spend as we please. Okay, the first phase of the experiment is almost done. Afterwards, you should improve your respective projects. The second phase of the experiment should be for you to experience the fun of mechs. Feeling that his body was almost recovered, Qing commanded two fans with glowing eyes to operate the robot arm and drag Guardian number 1 to the test area. These 2 rounds of experiments also made him finally realize a problem. One person counts the short, and the technology in the head. If you want to apply it, the localization work is too big, some projects are better to let others study. And he can give key guidance on the sidelines. Therefore, the smart home appliances of Kyushu technology are his test questions. If they perform well, they will be absorbed in and become the talent seeds of Kyushu RD Center. Give money to the project to give guidance, and when the results are produced, the company can also take the lead, and the limelight can be pushed to individuals to reduce the risk of exposure. As for the issue of loyalty, people have been checked 800 times, and those with clean net worth have been absorbed. Xuanwu can stop losses in time by keeping an eye on every move. However, I'm going to get a full shave now, and I feel that the nose hair is too long and itchy. Just like that, Mr. Gu of Kyushu Technology finally combed his hair to look like an adult, put on a handsome suit, and walked into his company. Looking around, because of the plan to hire talents with high salaries, there are many more people in the company. Although they are basically young people, they will not be like before, just sitting on a bunch of sailors, because they have been involved in the home appliance industry. Most of the boys have gone to the factory, and there are many more girls sitting in the headquarters. It's a pity that what greeted him was not the winking eyes of the beautiful secretary, nor the headbutt of the female staff, but the hospitality of the 2 rough men. Brother Gu, then, is that true or not? Or is it a movie we made? Huang Chaoran was so excited, he screamed nonsense. Bloomberg is a bit better. He asked which company made this video. The special effects are too real. Qing gave them a white look. Can you give me some space? My orientation is normal. Wow, it's really ruthless. That's not what you said in bed 2 years ago. Lao Huang covered his face and wept, and ran back to his workstation. Your design department's task is completed. People have come to review, so it's impossible to show all the engineering machines, right? There won't be a few more editions of the plan, and I'll be there to urge you when the time comes. Bloomberg rubbed his dark circles, resisted the desire to hit someone, and returned to the office area of the design department. After straightening the tie that was not easy to tie, Qing smiled lightly. Fight with me. Until Dong Qi appeared in front of him. With one look, the two entered the office. Tell me about your plan, so I can see if there is any financial problem. Dong Qi opened the small notebook he carried with him, and said casually, this? Although he didn't deliberately hide it from his friend, Qing still admired his friend's keenness, especially his keen sense of financial expenses. Let's go with the original plan. Ever since, Xuanwu, evolved into a strong artificial intelligence, Qing ruthlessly checked the bottom of the people around him. After all, internal stability is the most important thing. He also finally knew why Dongqi always mentioned financing. This child is an illegitimate child, very cliched plot. My mother is a third grader, and my father's ancestors were from the 13th line of the Qing dynasty. I haven't found any information about my childhood, but my study experience is very strange. I was in the top 3 in elementary school Olympiad, and almost entered the junior class in middle school. Then I voluntarily refused, and then at the age of the second most, he frantically complained about the nausea of capital in a tree-hole forum, saying that he wanted to get the capital and then hack other capital to death. Qing still remembers that when he saw Dong Qi's angry words, he looked back at the current Vice President Dong and couldn't help shaking his head. I won't mess around. The home appliance has already achieved results, and when it goes public, as long as the marketing is good, there will definitely be a large amount of money in the account. The industry of home appliance manufacturing is a real asset, so the initial investment cannot be interrupted. In terms of finance, we must leave enough budget for it. Qing gave a vaccination very frankly. Chapter 27 Waves. You are listening at novelfull.audio. No problem, I will listen to you in terms of the general direction of the company. Dong Qi agreed frankly. At this moment, ding 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 cell phone rang. Seeing this, Dong Qi walked out of the office. Qing looked at the caller, Zhang De, the representative of Xiaomi last time. As soon as the phone was connected, the voice on the other side was a little anxious. Mr. Gu, take a look at the scarf headlines. Scarf headlines? Speaking of this thing, Qing has not used it much since he came to this world except for checking people last time. But hearing Zhang De's voice, he was a little anxious, so he opened the scarf with the computer in the office. Scarf headlines and the like. We all know that actors take turns to join, and add money to jump in line. People's livelihood issues and news will only soar in the rankings when they encounter a large influence. Of course, they may be caught and suppressed, but today Qing did not expect that he would be able to make a headline. Daxia company plagiarizes Han Xing company. As we all know, since the battery explosion incident of the Hanxing mobile phone in 1016 of the Xiaoyin star calendar, although it was quickly boycotted by the people of Daxia, its sales in other countries are still booming, but this article is a bit interesting. A person from Hanxing company said, in order to re-enter the Daxia market, Hanxing spent tens of billions, and finally made a breakthrough in the speed of the Android mobile phone system, but the results were plagiarized by Daxia company. According to the latest information we have received, the company is called Zhozhou Technology Company. The owner Qing is a student who has just graduated from university, and Hanxing company has already planned to file a lawsuit against it. Good guy, I copied a Korean star. Qing read the original content carefully, and there was no mention of boundary monument in the previous news phrases, but the content of the news was really weird, not only exposing that boundary monument was plagiarized, but also exposing Qing's university, failing classes, skipping classes, comments from classmates he doesn't know, and photos of Qing's slovenly appearance when he was obsessed with the library. It directly brought him a social death. Qing sighed, feeling helpless. This media is still Daxia's media. Isn't it shameful to earn such unconscionable money? Opened Xuanwu, and checked the number of installed users of the free version, Boundary Monument 1.0. He understood a little bit. Perhaps it wasn't just the operation of Han Xing's family behind it. Mobile app installs, 360 million. Software user binding volume, 300 million. In other words, foreign companies such as Han Xing must have tried learning and research like domestic companies with hundreds of millions of functional software in a month. However, he must be like everyone else. His nose was ashes, and his front teeth were broken and he didn't bite off. In the comment area behind the news, there is also a very popular video link reply. It was a pickle with a mouth full of surprises who was speaking cabbage language, and judging by his demeanor, he was filled with righteous indignation. The front will turns and the back will stops. Smekta. Qing was amused, and flipped through the comment section again. Stealing the country and stealing again. Ah, you have it, why don't you use it? I am a loyal user of Han Xing. Han Xing has always had related optimization technologies. Please be more rational. Well, Liz Hunk appeared again, after flipping through it for a while. Qing, who felt that there was nothing wrong with it, called back. Manager Zhang, I read the news. Kyushu Technology Company has not copied any company's code, I can guarantee this. First, to stabilize the mood of the partners, Qing continued, the first-line mobile phone manufacturers have optimized their own system. Jihu, teaching, I believe Mio should do the same. Zhang De on the other end of the phone turned cold, and even had some doubts in his heart. Does this kid know something? A phone call ended without any saltiness, and the office became quiet again. Xuanwu, check the background of this media, which side is beneficial to the news content published in the past, and check the user profile of the first post on the headline news here. Qing didn't believe that this was done by Han Xing alone. I'm afraid there are some inner ghosts in it, and it's true that they eat inside and outside. Often the most ruthless stabbing is the people around you. Without waiting for a long time, Xuanwu put the found information on the desktop. Qing just glanced at it and smiled. Monkeys really know how to play. You have to play both good and bad guys. Want to win twice. In the big boss office of Kyushu Technology Company, Qing suppressed his emotions. A certain company invited the water army to be fined by the government, and other companies used new technologies to spray users as guinea pigs. When using this technology themselves, they said that the technology was stable and reliable, and criticized other companies that the design was anti-human and impractical. But when they used it themselves, that is to say, the design is optimized, it's really a different world. Everyone is standing up and down again. Qing was a little afraid to go to the company's research room next time, if he couldn't help but laugh. It would be embarrassing. After sitting in the office for a while, I felt a little bored. Boss Gu said hello to the small group and then slipped away. As for the punch card, what is that? Getting on Didi, on the way to the suburbs, there was a rare traffic jam. The driver turned the steering wheel a few times, and Trump, Sichuan Chongqing Mandarin, came out of his mouth. Oh my son, it's only been a few days since the government released the news to build the new subway development area, and this road is blocked every day. Hey brother, wait. Are you okay? It's nothing, I'm not in a hurry, safety first. Qing replied, checking the news. By the way, the uncle driver in front was still talking endlessly. Go lousy, I don't know how much the house price here will rise. There are a few big factories ahead. These bosses are going to make money again. It's really gold ingots from the sky. Don't be afraid to smash a bag. Smash a bag? Qing patted his head. It should not hit his head. However, it is clearly written in the news that the development of the new area is mainly to respond to the central government's policy, build a high-tech industrial park, enhance the city's influence, optimize the industrial structure, and stimulate employment. After a long passage, the word money is written between the lines. However, the traffic jam didn't take long. After all, no matter how bad the road is, the provincial road is not a one-way street. When he arrived at the gate of the manufacturing factory, Qing thought about it and looked at the factory building. Due to the need for security and confidentiality, the original 2-meter wall was raised to 3 meters, with barbed wire on it, and cameras were placed at intervals. In addition to connecting the security room, the monitoring line was also constantly checked by Xuanwu. The factory gate used to be an iron gate, but now it is an electric retractable gate with an infrared alarm device on it and a metal detection gate inside to prevent special materials from being stolen. Of course, what Qing cares most about is the configuration of the guards. The old man who used to stand guard and smoke was transferred to the sanitation team of the factory park, and now he hires veterans. Because of the high salary, he still chooses retired veterans, not the kind of conscripts who retire after 2 years. Chapter 28 Undercurrent Surge. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Isn't it boring to be a security guard here? Qing chatted with the guard. Fu Daolong glanced at the big boss, raised his head subconsciously and said, no, for this job, he still cherishes it very much. The monthly salary is 5,000 during the probationary period. After becoming a full-time employee, ordinary security positions have a monthly salary of 6,000. As a training cadre, he will become the security captain after being converted to a full-time job. The monthly salary is 8,000, which is the salary in Sichuan and Chongqing not low, since he intends to follow the trend of black technology, such as security and defense. Gu Qing will spare no effort. The ground of the factory is reinforced with cement, and surveillance cameras and infrared sensing equipment are installed in each area. Fortunately, Luo Songtang's way is still there, and he can connect with the army, so high-paying retired soldiers can be realized. Otherwise, if they are placed in other small companies, the army may not necessarily arrange for such veterans. However, this problem can be solved when the follow-up Guardian series mechs are developed. The new staff dormitory is about to be completed, and it will take more than a month to dehumidify and ventilate, and then there will be no need to force you to squeeze into multiple rooms. Fu Dalong smiled honestly. It's okay, we are all big men, so there is no trouble. That's okay, if you have problems in your daily work and life, just tell me anytime. After chatting with other security guards for a while, Gu Qing went to the cafeteria to have a meal in advance, and then went back to the research room. Others live at 3 points and 1 line, or in 2 cities, but he is now living at the origin. He hasn't been to the dormitory for a while. Ever since the underground warehouse was transformed into a laboratory, he has become used to sleeping and working in the laboratory. Usually, if there are any problems in the incubator, he will use the video conference or the encrypted chat of Boundary Monument, solved, and other ordinary office operations are now handled by Xuanwu on his behalf. Well, if I worked so hard in my previous life, I wouldn't be able to. Reminiscing about the old days, changing into not-so-clean work clothes, and entering the remodeling workshop, Gu Qing started a new round of ironing days, typing keyboards, changing settings, changing equipment, and when tired, I went to the scientific research building to see the research status of other projects. Sometimes I was too busy, and as soon as I walked out of the laboratory door, it was already the beginning of the lights outside. In the dead of night, the 2 project teams of Zhang Tianhao and Luo Yunjia are often working overtime, so the completion of the sweeping robot and smart dishwasher is the highest. Gu Qing checked the progress of the 2 teams from time to time, but it was always a pleasant surprise. The sweeping robot now has 2 models, Xiaohao and Xiaoxiuheo. Xiaohao comes with large storage space and automatic sealing machine, as well as air freshening and disinfection functions. Xiaohao is like a small toy mountain bike. It can handle fruits, small buns and dirty liquids. Of course, you can choose to add parts for air freshening and disinfection. Because there is a height limit, it is only suitable for home use. Factories that deal with high-precision instruments are often dust-free workshops and research rooms that eliminate electricity and dust. Fortunately, the current Kyushu smart home appliance manufacturing factory does not involve high-precision instruments, so there is no need for capital investment in this area. And when Gu Qing was busy with the machinery business, Yanjing Colorful City, the headquarters of Rice Company, it was evening again, and the office building was still brightly lit. Although the young people with thinning hair had changed their faces, they were still working hard. How's the situation with the cracking of the Boundary Monument in the research office? Gao Xiang in the president's office asked Xiang Hongfeng. As the management team, his attitude is naturally very correct, but after all, he spent money, so he naturally cares. Hongfeng shook his head. For the time being, it is still the same. The shell is too strong, and if it is not connected to the internet for a long time, the data will be changed. It needs to correspond to the key ciphertext. If it cannot be cracked technically, then we can solve it in real life. Isn't it okay to monitor his every move? Hongfeng sighed, but still shook his head and said, Gu Qing has been here a few times, but every time he brought his own computer to deal with the problem, and his coding speed is very fast, and he always looks for work in the blind spot of the camera. So there is not much progress in this regard. Moreover, recently, he has been busy with the problems of his own factory, and it is said that he wants to enter the home appliance industry. Home appliance industry? What does he want to do? Be an ecological bundle user, that they are all 1,000-year-old foxes. Gao Xiang thought of this situation as soon as he turned his mind. Maybe, but he doesn't have terminal support, so it's basically impossible to succeed. Gri and Heisey have been working for so many years and haven't been able to close the loop. We, Rice, have only been a few years old. bought brands through OEMs, and have already set foot in from home appliances to computers. Without huge funds, Kyushu technology is still a bug. Hongfeng was non-committal about this. If you don't know how to tell stories and contribute equity to impress investors, you won't have a strong enough capital flow. Without funds, you won't be able to acquire and suppress others, and you won't be able to expand your tentacles to other industries. However, let's hurry up. Han Xing has also hit a wall for the time being, and Mr. Lei is also in a hurry. Hongfeng nodded, said hello and left the office. After all, he was also in a hurry, and Mr. Lei urged him first. Not long after, Zhang De tremblingly came to Hongfeng. Things have been going wrong for him recently. The acquisition of shares has also failed to negotiate, and the executives of Zhozhou Technology Company have been bribed. That Huang Chaoran ate several big meals of his own, and even took a bath together. Hanging around above, I wanted to cultivate friendship on a deeper level several times, but was rejected. If he wanted to corrupt or collude with a man, he was an old hand. As long as he had sex with a man and gave him gifts, he would basically open a breakthrough. Let's report the latest progress on your side, and see how many digits you have spent in your account. Hongfeng asked, lighting a cigarette. Zhang Deqing nodded apprehensively and replied, at present, the person I have the most contact with is Huang Chaoran, the head of the operation department of Zhozhou Science and Technology. He is kind of delicious and fun. The funds I applied for here are basically used on him. Speak the key points. The result. Hongfeng shook the soot. His eyes were gloomy. I have made an appointment with him at the Shangri-La Hotel in Rongcheng. He said that he will bring a few friends with us, and we will have fun together. How many friends? Which friends? He said that there are about 5 elders and friends who have a good relationship and need to be treated seriously. Then entertain them well, grasp the evidence well, and I don't need to say anything else. Yes, I promised to conquer him this month. Zhang De forced his stomach to bow and promised. I don't worry about your work, and Han Xing, you should follow closely. Okay. Until he walked out of the boss's big office, went downstairs and returned to his small office. Sitting on the office chair, Zhang De's back was already dripping with cold sweat. Chapter 29. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Damn guy. Number 1 in the world in 2016, the bright light of the Korean nation, Gao Shizhen, the head of the Hanqing mobile phone department of Hanqing Company, is carefree in the office, because of the battery TNT incident. Although Hanqing mobile phone still has the largest market share in the world, its share is gradually declining. Mobile phone manufacturers in Europe and the United States are already vulnerable, but mobile phone manufacturers in Daxia are biting their shares like a pack of wolves. He is now successful in his career, but just now, the big boss Li Jianxi reprimanded him. Be prepared for danger in times of peace. Even if there is a big trend in Daxia, the share of Han Xing's mobile phone must not be let go, limited to the contract. We can't suppress them from the display supply chain for the time being, but we can't relax in terms of software and public opinion. If it really doesn't work, the memory factory can. Gao Shizhen naturally understands the big boss's foresight. This summer, the weather was hot, and our memory factory employees violated the regulations on electricity consumption, which caused some areas of the factory to catch fire. In terms of public opinion and software, we have made progress. For example, the system optimization software, Jianbei, in Daxia may be released next year. It will become our Korean star. That's it. Li Jianxi waved his hand, Gao Shizhen bowed back, and then walked out of the office. After leaving the headmaster's office and returning to his 1-acre 3-point land, Gao Shizhen looked gloomy. There were design defects in the battery TNT, Note and S series, and the system function problems of the whole series, and a lot of troubles blocked him. Han Xing's last footsteps to dominate the world. It obviously has the best mobile phone screen, the best memory, and the best manufacturing process, but its share is being gradually eroded by those low-end manufacturers in Daxia, especially the Jimenbai, that was born to provide acceleration services for all Android phones in Daxia. At this moment, it is like a stick in his throat. Using second-rate supply products, just relying on this software, will gain more and more market share based on cost performance. When his anger subsided, the door of the office was pushed open, wearing a slim suit, with a curvaceous figure. The secretary who looks like a certain Korean star came in to sort out the scattered documents. "Close the door, and come here." Gao Shijin ordered with great anger. There is something for the secretary to do. Yes, weeping willows are flowing with the wind, and the faint spears show a new look. It coincides with the nectar embellishing the jade pillar, so 2,000 words are omitted here. Clumsy and light spray. The wolfberry water in Dong Chi's office is really good. Gu Qing sighed after taking a sip of the wolfberry water. Huang Chaoran, who was sitting across from him, also took a sip of wolfberry water with empathy, and smashed his mouth. It's full of sweet and sour, and it feels hot all over after drinking it. It's really top grade. Hey, tell me what's going on with the reviewer over there. I've already hooked up with the inspection team, and the Shangri-La Hotel has been in a good mood. Oh. The per capita consumption there is 4 figures a day. Is Dong Laoku willing to give you such a large number? Gu Qing asked with a smile. Hearing this, Huang Chaoran raised his eyebrows, shook his head, and said proudly, "I'll borrow flowers to offer Buddha." Oh. Can they be so similar? Gu Qing shook the wolfberry water in his hand. Huang Chaoran also returned a cup and drank it all. Of course it is. Hey, you soaked goji berries, soaked so much, it's half water and half goji berries. Is your body so weak? Gu Qing asked with some doubts. I didn't eat breakfast, I'm too hungry. Lao Huang didn't even chew, and directly swallowed the remaining goji berries in his mouth. Hey, the child has grown up. I understand you as a father and pay attention to your body. Gu Qing patted Huang Chaoran on the shoulder and walked out of Dong Chi's office. Not long after, Dong Chi came back. Seeing his open goji berry jar, he said to Huang Chaoran, "Old Huang, you are really comparing yourself to me, just like Mr. Wang met Mr. Yu, you are a little closer." Lao Huang said with a smile, "Then you compare with me, it's like Mr. Ma met Mr. Feng by 2 points. Dong Chi looked at more than half of the weight in the jar, and said with a bad expression, "Compared to me, you are Mr. Wang who met Wang Matzi, and brought a wife with freckles next to him. Who gave birth to a child named Dian Dian, and raised by Dian Dian. A Dalmatian with a sliced dragon fruit in its mouth, you almost flew you. Hey, why don't you just eat some goji berries, as for complaining about your brother?" Lao Huang sighed. "You also know it's your brother. Tell me, what's going on between you and Zhang Detzi of the rice?" "What Zhang Detzi?" Zhang Detzi shouted. "He is not too young, he must learn to respect each other, after all, he is also a partner, why not call him Bulldog Zhang, Lao Huang chuckled, then handed his mobile phone to Dong Chi, and said, "He covered a lot of expenses during this period, and I spent less, but I can also be reimbursed. After all, I am also doing it for the company." Consumption. Dong Chi also smiled, took the phone and checked it. TSK, from Jianxi Road skewers to hot pot massage, why do you still treat guests the same way? I also really want to give him a reciprocal return, but the wallet doesn't allow it, and you didn't give such a large amount, so what can I do? A smart woman can't live without rice. Huang Chaoran sighed, stretched out his right hand, and there was another handful of raisins in his hand. Okay, just remember to take good care of the people from above. That Zhang De, just hang him. After all, everyone is still in the honeymoon period, and there is no real action, so don't tear your face. While talking, Dong Chi also grabbed a handful of raisins and ate them. Hey, tell me, what is Brother Gu up to lately? Why does he always come and go like a breeze every time he comes to the company? I didn't see him sitting in the office for an hour. Lao Huang asked a little bored. Dong Chi rolled his eyes and said, "There is an important person in charge of new products in the factory. The time is tight and the tasks are heavy. The 3 of us don't understand machinery, so we can't help him. Then he can only work harder by himself. There are many capable people. Please." "That's right, then I'll go to work. Remember to buy black raisins next time, I like to eat that. Grass, eat and drink for nothing. Are you still on the road?" Go away. Dong Qi waved his hands away speechlessly. Huang Chaoren walked away with a mean smile. This kid, you're really mean when you laugh. Gu Qing shook his head. Xuanwu knowingly turned off the monitoring screen of the phone. Xuanwu, check the supply contracts that Han Xing gave to Xia Wei and these manufacturers. If you can't find it, check the order arrangements of several big factories of Han Xing. Although he had expected that he would be suppressed, but this time someone lured a wolf into the house, which caused Han Xing to act so quickly, which really made Gu Qinghan feel a little bit worried, but when I think about it, I feel much more comfortable when I consider others to be overseas companies and not domestic companies. P.S. Thanks to Ihan, Dust of Fallen World, Hodgepodge Bookworm, Master of Silent Reading, Xiaoxue Everything, Shrimpy Jiang, Xingyuanzi Huo, there are still me. Nearby for rewards and monthly tickets, recommended tickets, a new week I recommended it on the internet, and I really need everyone's votes, and I wish you all a healthy Dragon Boat Festival. Chapter 30 Progress. You are listening at novelfull.audio. When a friend comes, there is good wine. If the jackal comes, there is a shotgun to meet him. Come on, I'll bring you something to eat, all of which are snacks or something. Huang Chaoren approached the company carrying several large bags of plastic bags. Although his face was a little pale, he looked very happy. It's a bit like, the man who had a good night, although he stuck to the bottom line last night, he did drink a lot. It's all Shangri-La's meals, and I haven't touched them much. I simply packed them for breakfast for everyone. Dong Qi opened the door of the office at this time, and shouted at Huang Chaoren, you came back so early, is it okay? Huang Chaoren winked, put down the plastic bag in his hand, walked to Dong Qi's office, and said in a low voice, what's the problem? The factory, otherwise you can go for a walk in our factory in the suburbs. Dong Qi looked at the bloodshot eyes of this roommate, and sighed, there is no need to work so hard, the factory has already achieved results. Huang Chaoren shook his head and said, I've looked at the materials, and there are no assembly line products, only a few laboratory products, so it's not good to be picky. It's better to have more than less, although Brother Gu's family has money, it's not much. After all, when swine fever broke out, those pigs couldn't stop dying, and many big pig farms went bankrupt. Dong Qi didn't speak anymore. He knew that his roommate just liked to think too much for others, and the problem of swine fever was indeed serious, and the price of pork had more than doubled. That's fine, go back to the dormitory to sleep after punching out the card, I'll grant you a half-day leave. How about that? I'm going to Brother Gu's factory. In case these inspectors come back and ask for something, it's easy to talk if I'm there. Your eyes are so red and bloodshot, can you bear it? Dong Qi asked with concern. I pressed my eyes when I was sleeping, and I wake up like this. It's okay. If I'm really sleepy, I can sleep in the car for a while, and I can go to the factory to continue sleeping. They are all adults who do things, and Dong Qi admires Huang Chaoren's masculinity. When he clocked in, walked out of the incubator and took the Didi special car, Huang Chaoren said, Master, drive slowly, I'll take a nap for a while. He closed his eyes and fell asleep. TSK, these kids are really desperate to work overtime. It's not worth it. The driver was an old Rongqing man, and he didn't say much after complaining. He just turned down the music in the car a lot. Sichuan and Shu have always been a slow-paced region. Although the people of Shu like to eat chili, they are notorious for having a lot of ears, and they are gentle in the subtleties of life, but at this moment, the factory is full of vitality. Gu Qing took Zhang Tianhao and Luo Yunjia to a small meeting place, cafeteria. Zhang Tianhao took a bite of the meat bun, bit the meat, squinted his eyes and chewed it clean, then drank another bowl of seaweed egg drop soup, and then heaved a sigh of relief. It's comfortable. Then he said, unhurriedly, our team has stayed up for several nights. Finally, Xiaohao's behavior program has been sorted out and optimized, and a safety measure has been set up. In the future, if there is a problem, it will automatically restart and extend the system response time. This allows the system enough time to process the data. Moreover, the shell shape designed by the design department has also been matched, and the finished product can be trial produced today. Qing took a mouthful of egg custard, nodded, and looked at Luo Yunjia. My smart dishwasher project team cooperated with the design department to make 4 sets of design plans. There are 2 models of different sizes, independent and integrated with the kitchen table. The smart program has been optimized and perfected several times, which can ensure the use. There will be no program problems within 1,000 times, but it depends on the quality of the robotic arm. Luo Yunjiawi reported. The robotic arms are easy to deal with. After all, the robotic arms you two are currently in charge of need not be too precise. I plan to start working on 3 of each model this afternoon. If there is no problem with the adjustment, I will go to Pudong in a few days to participate in the 8th Daxia Intelligent Robot Industry Expo on the 1st of the month. Qing gave a charter. Hearing this, Zhang Tianhao and Luo Yunjia hurriedly finished the egg drop soup in the bowl, took 2 freshly baked buns in one hand, and called the other project team members sitting aside to go back to the research room. He came to the cafeteria in a hurry, and went back in a hurry. Qing looked at the backs of this group of people, added some chili oil to his egg custard, stirred it and drank it in one gulp. You are really young. Having lived in the basement for a long time, every time he saw these young men, he would feel a little old and late, even though he was only in his 20s in terms of biological age. We still have to make money steadily. The contract signed by Han Xing's memory to the mobile phone manufacturer here in Daxia is too loose. Maybe I have to set up a memory factory or something. Although there are related technologies in his mind, it still requires a lot of funds to implement these things into products. In particular, although the Sichuan-Chongqing area has enough water and electricity, it is located in an earthquake zone, so the earthquake resistance requirements for the factory area are much higher. The requirements are high, which means that more money will be spent. Qing also wants to find a good place to build a factory, but unfortunately there are so many good things in the world. Plumbing and electricity pipes are cheap enough, the terrain is flat and free of disasters, low taxes, large consumer groups, clean officials, and no troubles. That is heaven, not the world. After breakfast, Boss Gu took a walk in the factory area to bask in the sun as if bored. Walk here, look there. There have been several meetings in the factory, so everyone else knows that this young man is the big boss. Naturally, no one will come up and say that the factory area cannot be wandered around. As he walked outside a conference room. He glanced at Luo Songtang, who was talking non-stop. The management and some of the workers below listened to Desire Immortal Desire Death, but luckily no one dozed off, otherwise Boss Gu might be about to raise his butcher knife. It's very cool to go to work by yourself and earn other people's money. Others go to work and earn their own money. That's a shame. Turn on the phone, communicate with Xuanwu, put on the earphones, and there will be another person outside the window who can still listen to the live broadcast. I talked about smart dishwashers earlier, and now I'm going to talk about sweeping robots. Of course, it can also be called smart vacuum cleaners for products from other manufacturers, and the new ones in our factory are not just vacuum cleaners. Through the materials given to me by the laboratory, our current products can automatically vacuum and clean the floor, mop and disinfect the floor, and can independently detect and judge according to the room type, furniture placement, and floor conditions, and plan a reasonable cleaning route, and then complete the cleaning of the room.